Good morning and welcome to my channel. Sharon here. I've got an Amazon paper bag. I wanted to do a really squidgy soft cover journal. However, I watched Love and Inspiration, a flip through of one of her journals, and she'd used a Jiffy bag that was filled with fibre. It's one of their green eco-friendly bags. I tried looking for them over here and unfortunately couldn't find any. So I thought I'd make my own. So I found one of these bags. And what I've got to start off doing is I'm going to cut that off. Whoops. Cut that off there. Could use that for a base for a tag. I need to open it up here. Now this piece here will get cut off because I've got to measure how big I want my journal, and I think I'm wanting it about where's my ruler gone? Sorry, about 8 inches I think tall. So I'll start from this side, and so I want to mark there and over here 8 inches there, and then cut this off. So that's like that, and then I want to do, I would say 11 3/8. I think I'm going to go 11 3/8. 1, 2, 3. This pencil isn't very good. It just keeps breaking, and yet it's a new one. 11 3/8. Where is it? There. Gives me a bit of, when I put the pages in, gives me a bit of space this side, so that this will then fold like this. So it'll be about that. So it'll be 5 3/4 ish. So I then cut this piece off. Always handy for journal cards and things like that. So this then folds in half, and we have a piece like this. Now I need to fill the inside. To do that, I have a piece of thin cotton wadding. Not the nylon-y plastic stuff, the nice cotton squidgy stuff. And I've cut a piece to the size, leaving a small border around the edge there. So to stick this down, I'm just going to hold it down with some glue stick. Now, I forgot to say, I'm actually making a Seaside journal. This is what this squidgy cover is going to be for, is a Seaside journal. And I'm using various kits from Ruby and Pearl and Sample as well. As you've probably seen, I've been doing some already. Some ephemera already for it over the last few weeks. I just have to trim that off a bit straighter. There does pull out this wadding, but hopefully it will do what I want it to do. Right, then the next thing is I'm going to use my block or your tacky glue as I say, this stretches so you can pull it out, and I'm going to run some bead of this all the way around the edge to seal it in. You then fold this over and seal all the way around. Making sure you've got it joined in the right places. We'll have to trim that by the looks of it. And then what I will be doing is sewing around the edges once this is all dry. I've sewn around the edges, and as usual in the summer my tension gets worse on my sewing machine. It must be the heat, but it's all going to be covered, so I'm not too worried. I now need to, let's move that out the way. Now need to paint it with the white gesso just to get rid of these black bits here. And I will go all the way to the edges, and then I will let this dry, and then I will do the other side, and I'll be back to show you what we're doing with the cover next after this. But I will say it's lovely and soft and squidgy. So I've made my own Jiffy, green Jiffy bag. As I say, I couldn't get the Jiffy bags here, so I could get them in the UK, but I can't. My son's coming in a couple of weeks, and I can't expect him to bring along a load of Jiffy bags in his luggage. Anyway, I'll be back once I've done all this. I have painted all of this, and I just did one coat, and then I inked it in Vintage Photo, but it was really, really yellow looking. I don't know whether it's the gesso. So I went round in walnut stain, and in fact I think that's what I'm going to use on this. I was going to go with the Vintage Photo, but I think I want it darker. Now I'm going to be putting this is from Ruby and Pearl's Ledgers, right across the middle today, and then I will then allow it to dry, because I like mine to really dry so that when I sew in it's okay. I'm going to be covering the outside of the signature in one, like with some collage. So what I've got for the signature is, this is from, as I think I've said, Ruby and Pearl's, a couple of Seaside kits and St. Paul. Tea-dyed bag, some vintage ledger. I like the way that went as a layer from the kits. Piece of tea-dyed paper, an old from 1964 invoice from the kit, again from the kit, and I've inked and sort of, ooh, that looks, needs a bit there, that's it. Maybe a bit there. Yeah, that looks better. And then some more tea-dyed paper, some vintage music. I've just folded that in like that for no reason other than I quite liked it that way. Page from the kit from an old Spanish magazine from, thought I had a date on this, 1949. Some craft paper, I think I'm going to ink around that as well. Page from the kit, page from the kit, and that's the middle, and I've done some aging on it. I do like this sheet here. I did some aging on that as well. And then the other side, again, I've done a bit of layering as well. The other side of the music sheet, a fold in from the tea-dyed paper. A bit more aging. There is the, this came from Turkey. Tea-dyed paper, the kit, the vintage ledger, the other side of the paper bag, I actually haven't cut open yet, and the tea-dyed Arabic paper with some stenciling on. So I need to put this together. First of all, I need to glue this down, and for that I'm using my block. I've done that, and the reason, I know you're not seeing a lot of the inking I did, but it does, the pages aren't quite big enough to go around all of it, so you do get a few bits showing, which I'll ink up a bit more once it's all dry. There. I've sewn the signature in here. So the next thing to do is to do the cover and cover it. And for this, I've got this sheet, which I believe comes from Ruby and Pearl. I thought the colours were good. And for this, I think I'll just open it out flat. I'm going to put this over here with hopefully this behind here, go to the edge there, I've got paper sticking out the top, so I'm trying to figure out where the edge is. Right, a bit like that, but I want to pull off sort of from here. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to kind of do a wiggly line or a guide of where to start and then where to sort of come down to there, pulling off this corner bit all the way down. Goes wrong like that, it doesn't matter, because you can easily take any bits off that you want to. So this will go like here, and then I'll have this underneath at the back, but I'm covering here as well. So I just need to, this has been inked, I need to ink that and glue this down, and I need my ink. Oh dear. You do need to use a glue that has flexibility, so art glitter glue isn't very good for it because you haven't got a lot of flexibility with it. I will have to do some trimming around the edge once it's all glued down. Okay, then this piece I will do as just over the signature. Okay, we're all done. I like that at the back. If you find once it's completely dry there's any bits still not quite glued down, then you can use your art glitter glue. Like I've got a corner there that I've missed. Okay, right, now the topper. And for that I've chosen this picture here, but it's going to have some borders around it, and I've got some I think I'll put it onto there. Waiting for my son to arrive. I've got the flight tracker up behind the video going on my computer. He's over France at the moment. This is 8 o'clock in the morning, by the way, because I'm trying to do it the day, finish this off the day he comes. I've been doing so much housework and other bits and pieces to finish off that I've got some videos done. I've got a lot of editing to do while he's here, but that's okay because him and the children and his wife will be in the pool most of the time. There. So I'm just going to tear. Oops. Hopefully this will work with my ruler. About doesn't rip. Okay, did a bit there on the edge, but I'm not too worried about that. Okay, that's quite hard to rough up. Ink around it. But what I think I might do is just fold it in like it's doing there in places on its own. Right, and then what I've got are these. Now, these are all vintage pieces of paper. This is the blue out of a book, but I'm thinking this is probably too bright a blue. There's a sort of grey and it's got a name, but again it's quite high up. I do like this, but I wanted to keep that bit as well, and it means it's going to be quite big on there. And then I have this, that I could take off down there and put on here. I think I'm going to do that. I think what I'm going to do is take off about there. Well, instead of doing that, I just put it onto this. No, I like the idea of that up there. It's a, what this is train lines in the UK. And funny enough, Billericay, Wickford, Raleigh, Southend. That's by the beach, Southend. Clacton's by the beach. So I'm thinking I will do this. Oh dear, excuse me. I'll stick this on here. And I think I'm going to roll the blue over the top as well. Let's see. Yeah, I'm liking that. We need something up there. I have this. Okay, I'm liking that, but we need something up there, and I have this. I'm thinking some book cage up in the corner. What do you think? Do I need anything sort of round the side? I'm not sure I want to ink this blue up. I quite like it. I just think rolling it. I've got some words down there. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. Oops. Okay, so that's going to look like that with the book page on. I did contemplate using this, which is a tea-dyed, but I actually think it's a bit too much. I think I prefer the blue of this paper, this vintage paper, standing out. I can't remember the date of this. It's an old book I picked up in the UK this year. I think that on the front there though now. Okay, I'm leaving it like that for now. I may add a few more bits to the front as time goes on, I don't know. And I will finish that here now. I think it's been long enough. So this is my Seaside journal. As I say, I've got my son arriving today, so I'm not sure when I'm going to get any more done, but we'll see. Okay, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, the notification bell and subscribe if you haven't. Be great. And I'll speak to you all again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.